Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this lead generation strategy guide and blueprint, you're going to get a copy-paste system for booking more sales calls. Timestamp table of contents in the description, along with some other helpful links and playlists to putting together the rest of your sales funnel, whether you're looking to take a deeper dive into your landing page copy, putting together emails, and of course, some guides on how to drive traffic to your lead generation sales funnel. Here, we're going to be looking at the essential pages, the software that you should be using, as well as some live case studies of how to apply these strategies to your business. Now, before we dive into the 5 simple steps to creating your lead generation funnel and going through some of these softwares, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 phases of your entire funnel. So at the very top, we have prospects, which represents everyone in the world who would be a good fit for your business. It doesn't mean every single person in the world. These just represent people who would be a good fit for your content and the services or products that you provide. At the next level, this is actually where the lead generation process starts and where we're going to kick things off in this particular tutorial video, and that is taking people who are audience members and transforming them into leads, which is the 3rd phase. And of course, the final phase is a lead actually becomes a customer. So zeroing in on our diagram here, we're briefly going to talk about traffic, then we're going to go into your landing page, what type of lead magnet you should use, and how to get people to actually pick up the phone and give you a call. Now, this is a diagram of the overall process of your lead generation strategy. Of course, it starts with traffic, which we'll talk about in a second here. Then we'll go into the 3 types of lead magnets you should be using. And then we'll talk about what to do on your landing page. And of course, then we'll go through the confirmation, booking, the pre-sales call survey, and then talk about what you can do with your email sequences. And here's just a quick preview of all the different softwares that we're going to be talking about as we go through this process. So the very first thing I want to kick things off with in our funnel plan is the best type of content or traffic to drive to a lead generation funnel. Now, because this lead generation funnel is specifically designed to get people to jump on the phone with you and of course purchase your product or service, we need to position you and your company as an authority as early on as possible so that the sales conversation can go as smoothly as possible, because it's nothing harder to have a sales conversation where someone doesn't already see you as an authority or expert. And so the best 2 traffic sources to actually drive people to your lead generation funnel will be something like a YouTube video or a blog post that's very in-depth, shows them some examples of what you can do, and essentially demonstrates your expertise. If you're not going to pursue a content marketing strategy, then simply running Facebook, YouTube, Google, or Instagram ads will work as well. So that does it for our funnel plan. Now let's go ahead and take a deeper dive. We're actually going to skip the landing page for now because we'll come back to that, and we'll focus on the 3 different types of lead magnets you can offer. Now, simply all a lead magnet is something to get someone to enter their name and email. Now, you might have seen lead generation processes in the past where you actually just offer a free strategy call, and that's something that you can do. That's totally fine. Although you're going to find typically that you're going to get a much lower take rate because people aren't always interested in immediately jumping on the phone with you. Creating a lead magnet is a good buffer so you can grow your email list and warm up those people who aren't immediately ready to jump on the phone with you. So there are 3 different types of lead magnets we have here. The very first one is going to be some sort of audit. Essentially, this is a PDF that goes through a simple checklist that reveals everything that they're doing wrong. Essentially, the goal of this is to show them that they do need help with whatever your business can offer, and that if they don't fix these problems, they can actually become worse. So a great example of this is offering an analytics audit, which we've done in the past for our agency, or offering a Facebook or YouTube ads audit where they can go in and check if they've clicked certain boxes or if they messed up some settings. If you're in the fitness niche, of course, you can do something like a simple body fat percentage test where you tell them how to measure themselves, and then all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, I'm way fatter than I thought, right? So the whole point is to just expand whatever problem your ideal customer is dealing with so it's really clear that they do need help. The second type that you can do with a PDF is a case study, and this is just a further demonstration that you can actually deliver on what you say you can do. We'll go through an example of this in a bit, and I highly recommend using a free tool called Canva to put your PDFs together. Link in the description, of course, to a playlist and video that actually walks you through how to create different types of lead magnets and opt-in offers using Canva, along with some other ideas if one of these 2 PDF ideas doesn't really seem to make sense for your business. Now, the next one is the last type that I recommend trying to put together, and that is actually actually a webinar. Now, when you hear the word webinar, it doesn't mean you have to make a 2-hour long, super in-depth presentation. It can be 20 or 30 minutes as long as it provides value. And really all the webinar needs to do is introduce who you are, show them a couple of golden nuggets so they get that aha moment of, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong, or oh, that's how I can achieve the result that I want. And then you can move into, if you want to learn more, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to do this better, faster, stronger, then you can go ahead and click the link below this video in order to book a free call with me. I almost said sales call. You don't want to say sales call. Book a free strategy call or discovery call with me. So that would be what you would do with your webinar. And the two pieces of software I recommend using if you want to do automated webinars, I don't recommend live webinars if you're just starting, is EverWebinar and Stealth Seminar. Link to a playlist in the description that compares the two so you can figure out which one would be best for you. Now, the final type that I recommend for a lead generation funnel would be a free tool. And this is going to be some sort of easy piece of software or a simple Google or Excel sheet that helps them do some calculations. I'll go through an example of what this could look like, but if you have no clue how to use Excel or Google Sheets, that's okay. You can go to Upwork or Fiverr and just ask someone to put together a calculator or put together a quick tool in Excel or Google Sheets. And I highly recommend using Excel or Google Sheets. Definitely don't take the extra step of trying to actually build a little piece of software right off the bat, because that's just a world of headache. Don't need to deal with that yet. Now, the first example we have here is from Digital Marketer, and it's the Facebook ad template library. And while this isn't exactly an audit, really the library is designed to help someone see what they're doing wrong with their current Facebook ads. So if you want to do a template library or not be an exact click-by-click checklist, this is something that you can use. This next example we have is from a digital marketer named Eric Sue, and this is just him showing a case study of how he actually was able to grow his own agency because he wants to teach other agency owners how to grow their businesses. So this is a case study. Now, the next one we have is from Billie Jean, who's another marketer, and this is signing up for a free training. Now, even if you don't want to use something like EverWebinar or Stealth Seminar, what you can do is you can still call your video training a webinar and just put it on a page on your WordPress site, or if you're using a page builder, you can just set up a page with the video training. What's most important is the video training is actually valuable, not necessarily that you're using a fancy webinar software. Now, the final one we have is an Excel tool. This is actually from way back in the day when I was a financial advisor, and we created this simple Excel tool that allowed people to type in the stocks they were looking at, and it would use our calculations to tell them whether or not they should purchase the stock. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg of all the different types of lead magnets that you could put together. So once you've chosen one, if you don't know which one to choose, please just go with a PDF, do an audit or a case study, and just move on with the rest of the funnel. Now, once you have your lead magnet, you're ready to actually put together your landing page. So we kind of went backwards a little bit here, but now that we have our lead magnet, let's go ahead, put together that landing page, and all you need to do is have a simple page that collects someone's name and email. Now, if you're going to be jumping on a phone call with someone, obviously you probably want more information, but we'll wait until we get to the pre-call survey to ask for more. Right now, we just need that name, just need that email, because we need to grow our email list so we can follow up with people who aren't ready to jump on the phone with us right now. Now, here are a couple of live examples, and then I'll go through the elements of a successful landing page. This first one is very simple. We have a headline at the top telling them what the training is about, a couple of bullet points that kind of gives more in-depth about the training, and then they can go ahead and click, enter their name and email, and watch the training. Perfect, good to go. This is built on Thrive Themes. This next one is also built on Thrive Themes, and it's for the exact same training. You can see it's just designed a little differently. This is as complex as your landing pages need to be. Now, this final one is a preview from a free tool called MailerLite. So if you don't already have an email autoresponder or you don't already have a landing page builder, then I highly recommend checking out MailerLite because it's free to start. And as you can see, you can easily format their pages for mobile and desktop. So highly recommend starting with one of those two software solutions. Of course, any other landing page builder will work, like GetResponse, Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, Kartra, Kajabi, the list goes, Instapage, the list goes on and on. So now let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into the elements of what makes up a successful landing page, and we'll go back through those 4 case studies so you can see how these elements are actually being used in real time. So at the very top, we have our headline, and this is the most important part. In fact, if you're just getting started, you could probably try and get away with just having the headline. And all the headline needs to do is answer the question, is this for me, and what's in it for me? Then we have a call to action where they get that pop-up to enter their name and email. We'll have a couple bullet points that answer the question of what does this do for me? Now, all of these are in first person because it's very important that all of your copy is about your ideal customer, not about how great your offer is. It's a subtle distinction, but it is very important. Next, you have the option of having some social proof if you already have some testimonials. If you don't, that's okay. You can just leave it off. And of course, a graphic representation of whatever your lead magnet is. Now back to our first landing page here, you can see that the headline is very simple, the Facebook ad template library. You don't have to be a master copywriter to create these landing pages. Next, they have a series of bullet points that go through specifically what someone's going to be able to do and what they're going to be able to get. It's all about them. Timestamp table of contents, along with another helpful video that takes an even deeper dive into the landing page copywriting formulas. But you can always pause this video to see the way these bullet points are written. They have a little credibility. Something that Digital Marketer does a lot is instead of having testimonials, they just have the face of their founder and a little quote to add some human elements to the landing page, and of course, the end call to action to get the guide. And of course, you'll notice here that they're actually asking for more questions, and you don't actually want to expand the number of forms you have on your page until you're being overly inundated with leads. They get a ton of leads, so they can afford to ask for more information to get that higher quality lead. You can always do that later. Now, speaking of a landing page that only needs a headline, in fact, I would actually go so far as to call this a squeeze page, is our case study example, the playbook that allowed me to build a multi-billion-dollar agency with clients like Lyft and Amazon. That's a pretty powerful case study headline, and you see he just has his picture instead of graphic. If you're trying to build yourself up as an influencer or credible expert, this is a great strategy to use. And then of course, name and email address, that's it. Now this next one, that's our webinar video training example, I'm just gonna jump down to the credibility, because this is something that you can do if you've spoken in front of a lot of people, or if you actually have a physical location with employees. It's good to take pictures to prove that you're a real person and that you actually do have a team behind you, or that you actually have spoken in front of people. So it's a way to kind of show, yes, I'm credible, yes, we're real, without explicitly saying, hey, we are real and we are credible, because pictures are definitely worth 1,000 words. Now, the very last one we have doesn't really have any new elements. You can see we have the headline, a couple of bullet points, a clear graphic of what they're going to be getting. This was extremely important because you don't just want to say you're getting an Excel tool. Nobody wants an Excel tool. Nobody wants a Google Sheet, but they want what the Excel or Google tool is able to do. So we actually went and created a custom graphic so that it was an easy representation of what the calculator looked like, as opposed to just having a giant Google Sheets logo, because that wouldn't really help for opt-ins. And of course, we had our call to action. In this particular instance, we just needed the email. And now that we have our landing page done and out of the way, it's time for our confirmation page. Now, on our confirmation page, you can use any of the solutions that we've talked about so far to create it. There's nothing fancy that you need to do. If you're offering a PDF, then you simply have a download link to get the PDF there, or you have a message saying, hey, check your email in 5 or 10 minutes because the PDF or guide, case study, audit is on its way. Or if you're doing that with a tool, you can do the same thing. If it's a video training, then you'll go ahead and have the video training right there. If you're using EverWebinar or Stealth Seminar, then that software will take care of the confirmation and make sure that follow-up emails go out so that they actually show up to the webinar. Now, something that's very important, whether you're doing a call to action at the end of your webinar or you're doing this right after someone's opting in, you need some sort of system in order to automatically book people on the phone. So Calendly and Book Like a Boss are two very good apps. I'm going to use Book Like a Boss in this particular example. And you may have seen other funnels in the past where they talk about having the survey before someone books. If you have a lot of prospects, that's an excellent idea. If you're just starting, you don't have a lot of people coming through your funnel, you just need people on the phone. Until you get to the point where you hang up a sales call after, X number of sales call and you go, oh my gosh, I don't think I could do another sales call with someone who's not qualified. Like, this is ridiculous how many unqualified people I'm talking to. Then you want to switch up the survey and the booking. But until you get to that point, do the booking first, then the survey. So we'll talk about the survey in a second. For booking, I'm going to show you how easy it is to use Book Like a Boss to schedule your strategy calls. So this is an example page of what my strategy call looks like with Book Like a Boss. So someone can choose their dates. I actually allow people to go out 14 days, and I really only do it 3 days a week because most of the time I'm recording YouTube videos like this one. So they can go ahead and choose their time, enter their name, email address, and phone number, and then they'll go ahead and click Book Now. So on the back end, there are two things I want to show you. First, you can set up your appointments. You can make sure that there's a cutoff for how soon someone can book it, so you don't wake up in the morning and find you have 5 calls. You can make sure that they're always a day out. And then you can also restrict how many days out someone can book a call, so you don't have someone book a strategy call with you in a month, because that just makes no sense. So for me, I make sure that someone can't book more than a week in advance. And then of course you can do padding and cutoffs. Now scrolling down here, this redirect URL option is going to be something that's very important irrespective of which software you're using. And this is where you're going to direct people to your pre-sales call survey. So this is where you're going to pre-qualify people. So you're actually going to get people to book the time and then fill out the survey. We want to take baby steps here. So we'll get to that in a moment. And you also have the option with Book Like a Boss of embedding the calendar directly on your confirmation page. So if you don't want a separate page that looks like this, you just want to have this strategy call section directly on your site, you can easily do that by just copying and pasting the embed code. And so that's all there is to it, to your confirmation page and getting people to actually book a call with you. Now that they've booked a call with you, it's time to use Google Forms or SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey will cost money. Google Forms is free to do the pre-sales call survey. And essentially, this pre-sales call survey only needs to do 2 things. Number 1, it needs to ask just a couple of questions that make sure that they have enough money or they're in the right situation to actually do business with you. And then the rest of the rest of the questions should be designed to help you better be prepared for the call. It is very important that you actually read what is given to you on the survey before the call. It's actually kind of crazy how many sales calls with other companies I've had where I filled out the form and I've actually been stupidly meticulous with it. And then whoever is doing the call obviously didn't actually read anything that I wrote. And so if you even just take 5 minutes before your call and during the call reference the survey, it's going to help move along the sales call much faster and keep the sales process moving, because the other person is going to feel like you've actually taken the time to make sure you understand what they are looking for. So here's an example of our digital marketing assessment pre-strategy call. We ask for their name, email, phone number, and website again. Something that I like to do is actually go to their website and make sure I understand their business and come up with a couple of questions about their website. And if I can find anything wrong, especially when it comes to analytics tracking, that is another great thing that I can use during the sales conversation to say, hey, by the way, did you know that your Facebook tracking is completely broken? So then we go through a couple of basic questions, and budget is something that I always ask across all of our discovery call surveys, so I know before I get on the phone whether or not they can actually afford. Now, if someone were to click hustling less than $500, then I would probably send out an email beforehand and say, hey, I noticed that you're hustling. Can we talk a little bit about your budget before we hop on the phone, because I don't want to waste your time. And that's just a very polite way of saying, hey, I want to make sure that this is actually going to be a good fit before we jump on the phone for 20 or 30 minutes. And that's all there is to it, to creating your discovery call. And Google Forms is, of course, free to use, and you can create a custom header here in Canva. It'll definitely take you a couple of tries to make sure that it's actually centered correctly, but really that's all there is to it, so that when someone's actually filling out the form, now we're in the actual preview mode of what someone who's filling out the form would look like, it gives it an extra level of professionalism, even though it is, at the end of the day, it's Google Forms. But if you have this at the top, I think it's a great way to show that even though you're using a free piece of software, you do take this seriously. Now, while it would be nice to think that everyone will engage with our lead magnet, they'll book a sales call or strategy or discovery call. I keep calling it a sales call, but don't tell people that it's a sales call. Discovery or strategy call. Most people aren't actually going to book. They're going to engage with your lead magnet and then just peace out, right? So what we want to do is make sure that people are dropped into a email sequence, and you can use something like ConvertKit, GetResponse. MailerLite is free to start if you don't already have one. And you can just send some basic emails following up saying, hey, here's why this particular opt-in offer or lead magnet is so valuable. Here's a case study or testimonial of someone who's been really successful applying the strategies. And all of these 5 to 7 emails should drive back to that booking or confirmation page to get people on the phone. After 5 to 7 emails, if they don't take you up on the offer, it's probably time to drop them into a different sequence. If you want to learn more about how to do that, link in the description to some other videos about how to create other sales funnels that you can funnel people into who aren't ready to book a strategy call with you. And that is all there is to it to setting up your lead generation funnel. So I highly recommend for your traffic source, you do an in-depth YouTube video or blog post. Of course, you can be running Facebook, YouTube, or Google ads. Run it to your landing page that's offering your lead magnet, which is an audit or a case study, webinar, or some sort of free tool or calculator. And for our landing page software, we can use Thrive Themes, ClickFunnels, OptimizePress, Lead Pages, MailerLite, which is free, and GetResponse. For our audit, you can use Canva. For your webinar, go ahead and use EverWebinar or Stealth Seminar. Of course, the calculator, that'll be Excel or Google Sheets. Calendly or Book Like a Boss for your confirmation page to get people on the phone with you. To automate that booking process, you can use Google Forms for your pre-call survey. And then finally, check out GetResponse, MailerLite, or ConvertKit for your email marketing. Again, MailerLite is free, so I highly recommend that one. Link in the description to check out MailerLite if you are looking for a software that's going to be able to do 90% of what we talked about. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video, and most importantly, some ideas on how to put together your own lead generation machine. Again, timestamp table of contents to help you skip around this video as you come back to it, building your own lead generation machine. And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth funnel tactics and strategies just like the ones covered in this video. And until the next, keep building the business you love.